of civilians, including women and children. They have burnt down villages in Ambazonia. They show no remorse, and they have never apologized for the killing of their fellow comrades, of their fellow women folk in Ambazonia and children. She's a grandmother, and I stood and I was happy, and I openly said I was happy for the arrest of Regina Mundi in Ambazonia. Like many others, they have been arrested, and it is sad to see that she has been released. Released in the sense that, as we hear from her own mouth, she's been released, meaning that probably money has exchanged hands. The same advocates who picked her up, who arrested her, we all lauded this particular initiative, are the same ones who have released Regina Mundi. Is it because of money? That is the problem. Ambazonians have died in droves. We've lost our lives. We've lost our dignity. We've not regained any part of our dignity. And we continue to die of this particular moment in Ambazonia. Many are dying. And here we go with the release of a grandmother who was denied to relinquish power in neighboring Cameroon. A grandmother whose position directly insinuates that she is a colonial master in Ambazonia. She holds the position of a senator in neighboring Cameroon, not a senator for Cameroonians, but a senator for a village or for a region in Ambazonia, meaning she's a colonial mistress in Ambazonia. And we stand to fight colonialism in all shapes and forms. We've always stood against colonialism. We've always battled against colonialism. And we shall always fight against colonialism because it is unacceptable in the 21st century. This particular woman was arrested while trying to supervise her colonial activities in Ambazonia. There we go again, the Ambazonia Defense Forces releasing her probably for money exchange. Of course, this is true. We've listened to her speak, and she was not speaking ignorantly. She is well educated, and she narrated exactly what happened and even called up another lady who was released alongside her. It is interesting because she used the word release. She did not say she was rescued. She did not say so. She was released. That is the word she used, and we have to quote her within context. That is her word. Meaning, she was probably released. I'm using the word probably because I cannot ascertain, but from every indication, she was probably released when money exchanged hands. The bees, the Cameroon Bataillon Intervention Rapide, or whatever they call themselves, have a stringent, a particular MO or modus operandi. Whenever they attack any camp in Ambazonia, whenever they go on any big mission that warrants the death of our generals, including General Ivo, General Ayenke, General Chacha, and all those generals of blessed memory, whenever they go on that rescue mission, immediately, even before sending out a communique, they send out photos, gory photos, humiliating photos of our soldiers killed at that moment. They send photos of the camps that have been destroyed. Of course, it is part of a military tactic of bravado. All military do that in the world, including the Russians, including Ukrainians. And the Cameroon military, as corrupt as they are very good at humiliating Ambazonians. And if this rescue mission sounds like a humiliation, if this rescue mission sounds like something to humiliate the Ambazonia Defense Forces, the strongest defense forces in Ambazonia, then we expected to see these photos and videos, which till now, as of this broadcast, we've not seen any of them. It tells you one thing. The people of Ambazonia, through the ADF, have probably relinquished this lady or exchanged this lady for money. It is sad if we can reduce ourselves to exchanging terrorists for money. It is extremely sad, and our ancestors should be rolling in their graves. They should be weeping in their graves. Our Tassans and Sisikus should be weeping in their cells. Because no matter what, the people of Ambazonia, I bet you, even if you raise $1 billion, you will never, ever relinquish or exchange that money for the head of Sisiko in jail. Cameroon is not desperate to ask you for money for the release of Sisiko Ayoktabe. If so, there are people I know who have reached out to Cameroon to pay them for the release of low-class prisoners, and Cameroon has denied. It is only in Ambazonia that we are so desperate, poor, that we can go and stoop so low to releasing a terrorist of high class for money. And there you go again with Capo Daniel, speaking and spewing thrash. Let me tell you, Ambazonians, if there is one person who is good at propaganda, it's Tapang Ivo. But propaganda should be done with intelligence and not stupidity. There are times where you have to do propaganda. There are times where you have to speak and say the truth. Why am I so bitter about this particular concern for Regina Mundi? One, she is out and she'll be releasing statements to the International Human Rights Commission and other NGOs, including Bala's NGOs, how she was tortured. And you know, torture is part of a war crime. How she was probably sexually abused. And you know, sexual assault is part of war crimes. And guess what? Everyone will believe her statement. And that is the level the ADF has brought us down to. The point where we have to start fighting and defending our stance in front of the international community. We've given a bullet to La République du Cameroun to put it in our own heads. It is shameful. I'm not speaking as a member of the ADF, but I'm speaking as a member of the Ambazonia community. And I want to see the Ambazonia community not dented with the stupidity of our leaders, specifically the leader of the Ambazonia Defense Forces or the Ambazonia Governing Council or the leadership of that council. I expect Regina Mundi to be granting an interview. I'm not a prophet, but I will say this openly, and when you see it tomorrow, you would come back to Tapang and say Tapang was right. I expect Regina Mundi to be granting an interview to the BBC, to CNN, to international news organizations, to the Human Rights Watch, stating and narrating her ordeal in the Ambazonia detention centers. I expect her to say horrible things about the Ambazonia Defense Forces, probably left open for investigations or for independent investigations. But these are not things we want to be hearing when we have struggled so hard to roll the revolution to this particular point. Now we've rolled back ourselves 10 years behind. We will be fighting with the international community. This is a woman. In the first place, she is not a man. She will probably say she has been sexually assaulted by the ADF forces. And who will the international community believe? The woman or the ADF? That is an answer left for you. And this is particularly sad when we have hardliners within the ADF. Hardliners like the Dr. Ayaba Cho's, Benedict Kwa. I mean, staunch hardliners like Sheikh Abi Womilim. Ambazonians, we are at war, and this is a revolution. We are guerrillas.